Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today is the day that I don't stream of the week. But you already know we're gonna go over something and we're gonna get a video. So if you enjoyed the video today, drop a thumbs up. This video is gonna be a little bit longer. I wanted to make this week, but it's really hard streaming a lot of hours and then trying to make a video that just comes across well and is like well analyzed, and my thoughts are actually, like this. Sometimes when you stream it for all those hours and you just you get that brain fog and you gotta leave. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about it's gonna be a longer video. We're gonna talk about the name change and the upcoming really future for football games. I want to go over this because I think there's going to be a lot of changes in the future, and I think it's an interesting stepping point into the discussion of what's going to happen. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the video. I know this is not a video where we're really doing much else besides discussion, but a lot of you guys on the channel, you guys do like the podcast kind of videos. Sometimes when we do longer videos, we talk about maybe something crazy going on FIFA or something crazy, whatever it might be. So that's going to be one of these videos. I haven't actually looked at this page yet, but we had heard a couple of months ago that EA was no longer going to pay FIFA for the license anymore, which means they're going to lose the name FIFA. So FIFA has been going on for a long time. My first FIFA was 11. In my opinion, FIFA peaked between FIFA 13 and FIFA 17. 18 was a great game. 18 was the last great game that we had. And then the last 4 years of FIFA 19, 20, 21, 22 have all been horrendously horrible FIFAs compared to the previous decade. I'm not a nostalgia merchant. They've been horrible titles. People sit there comparing trash with trash and which one is less trash. They're all bad after 18. So the last couple of years on FIFA have been really, really bad. I think it's a collective opinion of many. Some people think a couple FIFAs, there and then were fun between the years. That's fine if you think that. I don't really care what you think, and you shouldn't care what I think. My opinion does not warrant or determine what everyone thinks. So they're going to change their name to EA Sports FC. Next year, EA Sports FC will become the future of football from EA Sports alongside 300 plus licensing partners across the sport. We're ready to take global football experiences to new heights on behalf of all football fans around the world. I'm not going to go too crazy into this because we know how EA write their articles. There's a lot of milking, right? So we're incredibly excited to build the future of global football with you, and we'll be happy to share more info on EA Sports FC in summer 2023. So they've released an article a whole entire year before, which tells me that they are starting to work on their transition to another game. This almost reminds me in a little bit of a way of a content creator who has a lot of casual audience maybe on a game and is working on transitioning towards another game as a streamer. It's very similar to me as this, and I'll explain why. And yes, guys, we're going to have the notepad out today as well, so you guys know what that means. So we're incredibly excited to build the future, right? Yada, yada, yada. EA Sports is a long-term and valued partner of the Premier League. These are all the La Liga quotes. So there's not too much in this article, right? There's really not. They say that they're allowing us to realize the future, but not before we deliver our most expensive game ever with FIFA. We are committed to ensuring the next FIFA is our best ever, with more features, game modes, World Cup content. So listen, this is the sales pitch, right? And EA always do this, right? Next FIFA is going to have all these features. Next FIFA is going to be the best one yet, right? You cannot blame EA for wanting to market their game. So what you can see in here is that the World Cup content will still be licensed on this game. That's pretty cool because that'll be in December. And this will be the last FIFA. So in my opinion, guys, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this is going to be the peak of FIFA in terms of revenue of sales. This FIFA 23 is going to be the last FIFA that EA are at the top with money. And I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to be realistic with my analysis. So first of all, this is the revenue that EA have been making off of Ultimate Team. Now, this is not including game sales. This is just microtransactions in millions of US dollars. So you guys can see, based on the evolution of the years, they are continuing to rise. Even during COVID, they rose, right? And that would also make sense because a lot of people, at home probably spending money instead of saving money on the packs, right? So EA's system is working very well for them right now. And they are continuing to grow. They just made $1.62 billion in revenue on Ultimate Team alone, right? This is just from FIFA. And FIFA is not even, I think, a 30% net revenue of EA or something crazy. I was reading an article about that the other day. So I don't, EA do care about Ultimate Team and Foot because it is a very money-making mode for them. But they are going to be losing a very large license soon, which is named FIFA. So what's happening here is that EA have kind of gotten to the point where FIFA is charging so much money in this renewal of their contract to remain the rights of when you log on to FIFA 22. So FIFA decided they want a piece of this. They see how successful EA is over the last couple of years because EA have genuinely had a monopoly. There's not been another game that has really competed with FIFA or even nudged it a little bit. So EA continuing to thrive, and you can understand almost why they even do want to pull away from FIFA, right? The reason is that EA feels like they can make more money because they have so many people playing the game with the name EA Sports, FC 24 instead of FIFA 24. So EA have decided when FIFA is saying, hey, we want this much money for the license, EA have completely decided, no, we're not paying this increased value that you are asking for, and we are going to go and just take a loss of the name and save the money and profit potentially more. So you can understand that from EA's perspective, right? People are addicted to packs. People are addicted to logging on every day to check the content. They've got a really good system going right now. They've got a lot of people spending money on the game. They've got a lot of people logging on every day. And now they're doing a ton of things with the logons, like challenges, token system, squad battles. So EA have a great system for even people not necessarily bringing them money. EA need to be able to present their stockholders and people that buying the stock, investing in the company, hey, we have this many people logging on every day, and then maybe Q3, Q4, it continue to increase. And that's why you see things like the Winter Wildcards tokens, right? You guys got to understand, this is not for you. This is for them to be able to say, we just increased our daily users by 15%, come invest in us, right? That's what EA have basically been figuring out they can do the last couple of years. Now, here is where I think EA have been a little, I don't know if I want to say conceited, but thinking they're larger than they are. And look, FIFA, for me and my creation, is the game that made me. I understand if I go play another game on my live stream, I'll probably have half the viewers of FIFA because I know that a lot of people genuinely just watch me for FIFA. And that's where I think EA just have lost the plot just a little bit. Now, what do EA currently have in, let's say, in their arsenal right now? So EA right now, what do they have? They have a weekend league mode, which doesn't have great rewards, but a lot of people are addicted to it. They have people addicted to packs, which could be money or SBC, and they have a great system for gambling at the moment. And then they have a great login system. And what they also have going for them is that the game every year is $60. So some of the most successful games in the world are free to play. This one still costs $60 minimum, and people pay it every year. So they make a lot of money off that. My issue and my worry with EA, there's a positive and a negative with this name change. The positive, I think, for them, with the positive for the name change, we'll do positive, negative. So the positive for me is that they are not restricted under any FIFA rights. So basically, EA can do whatever EA wants somewhat legally, right? And what I mean by that is that a lot of the stuff that EA do with the packs, it's still kind of illegal slash not really like right to do, right? So now they tell you the pack odds, but it's still a little confusing. Half the time it's less than 1%. They're running 4 lightning rounds every hour. A lot of it is unethical in terms of killing people's accounts with coins, but it's legal. It's somewhat legal, right? It's messed up and it's legal. So it's not somewhat legal. It is legal, but I say it's somewhat legal because ethically it's kind of like messed up. But this is going to be good for EA dropping the FIFA license because a lot of the time you'll see there's been times over the years where EA, they can't do certain things like For example, there's imaging rights and then FIFA rights. So a lot of the time people wanted to see like icons with certain clubs, icons with like a flashback, and then they change the club. There's a lot of things that EA cannot do over the years because they're binded to these FIFA rights, and FIFA have a certain rights, right? So now that there's no attachment with FIFA, a lot of people are coming from the perspective that they think EA Sports 24 FC is going to be the best game ever out of the since let's say FIFA 17, 18. Okay? So I actually think that's a possibility. You guys gotta understand, for me, I'm not just a hater of EA. I'm really not. I think a lot of the stuff they do is smart, but also unethical. And that's a lot of the time why I don't work with them and why they don't even hit me up. Because I just think as a company, I don't love them. I know they made me in terms of my content. I'm aware of that. I'm not some guy who's some bozo thinking I'm bigger than EA. But listen, the issue for me is that, look, EA Sports FC 24, this could be the best FIFA ever. I'm not even joking, guys, when I say that. Because they have no more restriction, and they're going to have to make a really good game. Because here's the thing. FIFA 23, what's the difference between FIFA 23 and EA Sports FC 23 from a sales perspective? Here's the difference. And it's very simple. One is called FIFA, and one is called EA Sports FC 23. That, for me, is a massive difference. If you're not a hardcore player, and you're not a person that's grinding this game 24/7, which I would say 98% or 95% of people aren't, you're not going to know what the hell EA Sports FC 23 is. Now, EA may do some in-game announcements on FIFA 23 saying, hey, saying, hey, this is going to be our game, what it's called next year. That may not matter. And this is why, in my opinion, it may be a little too late for EA. It may not matter if this is their best game ever, because I personally think they're going to be motivated to have to make a great game because they need to get people transitioning and carrying over to their legacy, their brand. But the problem here is that it doesn't matter, I think, if it's going to be the best game ever since FIFA 17 and 18, which is personally, in my opinion, not hard to do because I'm playing a free-to-play eFootball game that has better gameplay than the last 4 FIFAs. But I'm sure they can do it, and I'm hey, Tom Kalefi, the king of the ISO ball creation, I'm believing in you, man. You got this. You can do this. But here for me is the issue and why I don't think it's going to matter. Now, at the end of the day, EA is not, if you're making this type of money, guys, 1.6 billion, my whole video here does not even, they don't even care. They're laughing at this video because they're making so much money, they don't give a shit, right? It could be 1.6 bill, it could be 900 mil. At the end of the day, it's a lot of money. Making that much money is crazy. But the thing with money is that when you start making money, you always want to make more money. And that's what I think EA are motivated by. I think they always want to make more money. And I think this is not going to be a great year for them. No matter if this is the best game they've made since 7 years ago. And here I believe is why, okay? So, you have, and I would explain to you, my real life friends all play FIFA. And I asked them this week, because of this name change, they don't hear about this stuff. They don't know. I asked them, I said, hey, look, let me propose you guys a thing, right? These guys are guys that, most of the people that play FIFA, and I didn't even go through my negative here, most people who play FIFA casually, they do this, guys. They play head-to-head, all right, with drinking games, or if you're a child, you're just playing head-to-head versus your friends. You guys doing wagers for $1, okay? Or you're playing career mode. In my opinion, this is most people who play this game casually, or like virtual pro or pro clubs, right? I think foot is for the hardcores, and this is where EA makes the most of their money. Okay, so the negative is that they're losing the name FIFA, right? And so for me, I asked my friends this week, and I said, look, let's say in 2024, right? Because these guys get FIFA every year, or they get it every 2 years, so they have somewhat of the updated version. I said to them, let's say in 2024, right, or 2023, when the new games are coming out, are you gonna buy FIFA 24? I think it's gonna be 2K24, or are you gonna buy EA Sports FC 24? You know what they all told me? FIFA 2K24, and I asked them why. I said, look, why? If FIFA 23 is EA Sports FC 24, if they had that gameplay, if that was their game, if they told me, like, this is 4 guys, because it's named FIFA, And so that's why I'm a little worried for EA, because I think they're going to lose a lot of these $60 purchases, right? And I've kind of just leaked this here into my next point here. Okay, so 2K, which does NBA, is gonna take over the FIFA rights. It's been rumored, right? And maybe it's gonna be another company. Maybe FIFA's gonna make their own game, but I don't know if they're gonna have a product out until 25, because it takes at least 2 years to make a football game. But they are buying out the rights. It's been pretty much rumored and leaked. I mean, throughout game developers and stuff, people have heard this, and this is some pretty reliable. I'm pretty sure this is happening. I've heard this from 3 devs who are making other football games. And so look, 2K NBAs fell off massively, right? But I think a lot of people are starting to see this profit potential in football games and just look at the money that EA is making, right? And football is the largest global sport. So where I think EA is going to be okay, I think they're going to be okay, specifically in Europe. Because I think in Europe, I think EA does very well with the marketing and the licensing of the clubs. And I think that it's just 2K is a really American kind of brand. So I don't know how it's going to do overseas and translate, you know? But I think my point here is that FIFA is a really large name. I really believe, guys, and I really believe in it. I grew up playing FIFA. The name FIFA is everything, in my opinion. It really is. Now, am I still going to buy EA Sports 24 FC? Absolutely. Absolutely, I'm buying this game. But here is where EA is going to run into an issue very soon, right? They have to transition a whole player base into a rebrand. Okay? That's not easy to do. You rebrand your brand. That's not easy. People know your name as this, and they really have to jump on and go with you. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people aren't happy with EA. All right? There's been many years in a row, people have not enjoyed the gameplay, not enjoyed some of the stuff they're doing, but people, let's say some people stopped playing and others kept playing because of addiction. Okay? So people are addicted to EA's game because it's really the only game. People are not addicted to EA's game. Some people, I would say a percentage of Foot Ultimate Team users are addicted to packs and gambling, and to those, I feel bad, right? I do. But people are addicted to football is more where I'm looking at and thinking, right? So here's what's going to happen in the next, I would say by late 2024. Okay? We have, right now, we have free-to-play eFootball, which is improving massively. I play it and people crap on the AI, or sorry, the UI, horrible UI, and looks like a 1998 game. But let me tell you something. It's a better game than FIFA's best is FIFA 20. All right, they improved this game a lot, and it seems like it's going in the upwards, improving. Okay, you have another game that's coming out in late 2022, which will most likely be like a beta stage when it releases. Also free to play, ranked modes. It seems like a career mode slash ultimate team combination. And it seems like in this UFL game, they've posted some info on their Twitter. It's more of a game where you can play a lot more with friends. They'll probably make money with cosmetics and bundles, right? But it's free to play, okay? And then, okay, you have another game, which I had some early, discussions with, but ended up, guys, I haven't been able to do anything because I want to create content full time for you guys, which is Goals. Now, I don't think Goals is going to be out until like 2024. And they started working on that this year. And let me tell you something, to make a good game, you got to take your time. Okay, now this game has a focus on 2 things. Responsive and fast gameplay. Leveling up system like PES. And then play to earn, right? And they've gotten some shade because they made a post basically saying, hey, we're going to use the crypto. And everyone looks at crypto NFTs, I don't want to do it. What people didn't understand is that they're going to be using a crypto token, which is basically US dollar. Okay, this is a token basically, guys. That's a one-to-one token. So it's like earning $1. It's just how the internet is starting to evolve. I'm not even a believer. I don't like crypto. I sold all my crypto. I don't even like NFTs. But it's basically just the income way of which you can actually play to earn. And how does that work? You know, sell your goals, level up your players. So this has got a very like modern and futuristic vibe to the game. And then you also have FIFA 2K25, I assume, or 2K24 if they really rush it. I don't know how the hell they're going to make a game in 2 years, but... And so basically, it's been rumored that 2K, who does NBA, is going to make a football game. And I would assume it is also going to cost money, because if you have the name FIFA, you can charge the game money. So then that would also leave EA Sports FC 24, which is going to cost money as well. And, you know, EA is on their own with their future. So, guys, here's where I think EA is going to start to decline no matter what. Now, I think for life, there's always going to be people addicted to EA's games. I personally will probably always play FIFA no matter how bad it is, because I make money playing FIFA, and I create content on playing FIFA. But I think what you're going to start to notice here, and I would almost compare this to an FPS, right? Because when you look at sports globally, right? Football is the biggest sport in the world, and it's not even close. Okay, so everyone, and not everyone, but a lot of people are going to want to log on and play a game based on the world's like largest sport. And so EA have had this monopoly for so long that everyone has to buy their game. Well, I've just proposed to you 5 different games that are going to be out. Now, each game, in my opinion, is going to be better than another. And most likely, in my eyes, EA Sports will probably have the best game in the eyes of many users because of the way that they've managed their content and their push for people to get addicted. But it's not to say, in my eyes, that at least 2 of these games will probably have better gameplay than EA Sports FIFA, because I personally think EA's gameplay is so bad now. It's all about getting to a spot. It's not football. It's gone completely lost with where it has been years ago. It actually feels like I'm playing basketball in a football game. I'm serious, and I know you guys laugh, and I know half of you guys don't even watch basketball. But it really feels like all you're doing now is trying to get one-on-ones, which is the premise of basketball, get a mismatch, and do a skill move, a crossover, and then do a step-back shot, a cancel. It's not football anymore. It's just all about a cancel or an extra. It's just not. We've gotten lost with where the game has gone. It's a mess now. So I think that it's not to say that other games are not going to be better. As a matter of fact, I actually think 3 out of 4 of these games, no matter how they look, are going to be more fun, more rewarding, and better to play than EA's game. Where EA have everybody, as I have already said, is addiction, maybe like first owner, and then year-round grind. But I personally think, with this being the world's largest sport, right? Largest game, most popular game in the world, I look at this thinking, hey, I think there's a lot of people, listen, that are going to try all these games. And this would be the hardcores. Because, look, you're going to have 3 of these games which are free to play. I'm not joking. You guys laugh at me. eFootball, you should watch some of my gameplay. It's a lot more football-esque, and it's not even good, but it's better than EA's product. So, I mean, I think when you take a look at these 3 games, all of the hardcores, no matter what, are going to try these 3 games. And they're going to make a decision and value it. Do I value EA's system of car designs, dynamic images? Because I think all of these games will adapt and get to that point that EA are at. But I think it might be until 25, 26, until these other games figure out unique progression systems and, let's say, eye candy, which is in terms of you look at something and it's like candy, right? A lot of people like SBC cards, FOMO, they have fear of missing out with certain cards, they like dynamic images. That's a lot of how FIFA gets people addicted, right? They stare at their freaking team all day, but then when it's time to play a game, they want to get rage quits or not play the game as quick as possible. And people are so brainwashed to not even realize that they make these teams and they don't even want to play. Nobody wants to play. So that's where I look at thinking there's a large popular group of people that are just ready to try whatever else. And look, I'm going to be realistic here. No matter what, bar a miracle, okay, EA Sports will be the #1 gross revenue football game probably until at least 2027, I think. Because I don't think any of these games are going to dethrone EA in terms of the pure money they make and the addiction system they have. But what I'm starting to kind of see is that we've got four other competitors, as we know now, and they're legit competitors, right? These games have a lot of funding. People are going for it. And so I think that I think no matter what, EA's income is going to start to decline because I think they're going to actually lose users per year. And users translates to income. So I think they're still going to be the most popular. I still think they're going to be the most viewed. I still think they're going to be the most money revenued. But I think they're going to slowly start to peak next year, if not this year, and then hit a decline. I really do. So EA is going to have to really step up their game, guys, to be at the top dog. They're going to have to make their gameplay better. Look, they have the money to do it. Whether they have the brains, I don't know, right? I don't know if they have the brains to do that. So this becomes a really interesting game. And I think another positive that no matter what EA will always have the most licenses / imaging rights. So you could put that in a positive. EA have the most money, which translates to being able to buy out the most licenses, the most, everything. Graphics, probably. They're going to be able to, no matter what, put on the biggest show. And I firmly believe that because I think they got the money. I think they got everything. I really do. I think EA have everything besides good gameplay. They've got a whole system down. They've got the addiction. They've got microtransactions. They've got daily content. I've said this a million times already this video. They've got everything besides good gameplay. And I haven't rated a FIFA over a 4 rating out of 10 since 18. So for me, what I really care about no matter what, and I'll say this, right? I'm going to be honest with all you guys. My #1 job as a creator is to create content that you guys like, all right? Have a mental positivity when I'm creating content so I'm not wanting to just lose my mind when I do this job, and to make money. At the end of the day, that's my job here, and it's similar to EA. They want to make money. I want to make money. But what I really want out of a game, and this is my opinion, I don't care about the card collecting. I don't care about anything that the UI looks like. I used to care. All I care about is I want to play a game that responds and has a skill gap. And you want to know why? Because I want to improve at the game that I play. When I play FIFA now, I don't personally feel like I'm improving. I feel like some days I'm canceling better than others. I'm skilling more than others, but there's no real improvement because all I feel like is a robot when I play the game now. So I think for me, I've now learned after playing a month of eFootball, people thought I was going to play for 2 days and stop. I'm loving the game, even though it's crap. It's horrible. It's like a 4 out of 10. It's terrible. It feels unfinished. The game has a skill gap. It's chaos. It's random. It has more of a skill gap in this game and more of a football feel. So what I'm learning just based off my experience playing free-to-play eFootball looks like it's from 1998. Here are some positives that I've played with this game. Manual skill gap. All right. Progression system. It's got career mode basically in foot. What else? When they mess up, they send currency in-game. I mean, there's a lot of positives, right? And look, what I've learned about this, right? This game is not even good. It's not. It's more fun to play than FIFA. It's not even a good game. So when I look at these, I'm probably always going to create content for EA Sports, guys, the FIFA game, unless it totally falls off, because that's where probably the majority of the views are going to be, right? No matter what. But when I look at all of these other games potentially competing with EA, I'm thinking there's no way, based on my experience with a game that looks like it's literally played in 2000, that these games in modern era, post-2020, are not going to be able to create a gameplay that competes with EA's. All right? Now, the flaws of these other games, flaws of new games, we'll do this kind of like last section. Here's what they're going to be flawed in. Less licensing, less addiction, less access to daily content. There's probably a couple others, but then you're going to have some positives, right? So, I mean, for me, the thing here that's really interesting is going to be to see the approach of these other games. I think, if I'm doing the bottom line here, in my opinion, of the name change, I think EA losing FIFA is massive. That's my bottom line. Whether you agree with that or not, that's fine. I think it's massive because just that story I told you guys and my friends this week when I'm asking them, FIFA is just such a global name, right? That name FIFA, and for me, the people that are playing head-to-head, I think are always going to play FIFA. So it'll be interesting to see if 2K publicly kind of come out soon and say they're going to do this thing and, what their game's going to look like. I guess the question mark I have, EA probably have like a patent on all their stuff. So if 2K is really going to go through and take FIFA, I'm not really sure. It's going to be really hard to do because they're going to have to pretty much change the game completely. So it's really interesting, guys. I mean, I'm looking forward to the future. I think if you guys are clicking on this video, we're all in a really good spot because since FIFA 17 or 18, there's not really been another game to play. Let me give you guys an example. If there was only one first-person shooter game, like Call of Duty, and there wasn't maybe Apex Legends, Fortnite, not even just FPS, but just shooters, right? Maybe, I don't think Battlefield's that relevant, but that's what we've been having to deal with. There's only been, let's say Call of Duty, right? And imagine you got sick of Call of Duty. You got sick of them trying to sell bundles. You're sick of the lag. You're sick of the hackers, but you can't go anywhere else. We're just been waiting to go somewhere or try something else. And I think that it's all going to hit at once like crazy. So this is going to be really interesting to see what happens. I think for a lot of people that have been playing FIFA for a long time, I think a lot of people are just tired of only being able to play FIFA because it's ridiculous that there's not other football games available to play. Even if you want to play FIFA the most every day, the fact is it's nice to be able to play other games. So yeah, I think EA, guys, bottom line, no matter what, is going to be fine in this transition. I think their game is going to actually, as I said earlier, I think it's going to be the best game we've had since FIFA 17 or 18. I do. I think it's going to be the best game they've made. The 2024. Not next year, which is FIFA 23, but EA Sports FC 24. I think it'll be the best game they've made. But I think it's going to be the least popular game they've made since FIFA, the peak of revenue, which I think will be this year or next year. And there's a chance that EA can do really well because I think also a lot of people will want to try it out. I think EA is going to be able to market it as like a rebrand. So I think a lot of people that maybe didn't play FIFA the last couple years is going to try it. So where they may actually, quote, fall off outside of or referencing game sales could be EA Sports FC 25. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm trying to not have a bias here. I'm trying to go in with an open mind. I think EA are going to kill it no matter what, whether it's 1.7 bill or 900 mil. I personally just see them falling off a little bit. I do, because I think a lot of people are ready to go to do other stuff. And I think a lot of these other games have new ideas, man, like ranked systems, being able to earn money on a freaking game that just EA can't offer. I think no matter what, EA's not going to be able to offer a great football simulator, gameplay-wise. Not going to be able to offer great servers. And just not going to be able to offer adapting with the times. I think EA will always be able to offer pack addiction and SBCs all the time, daily content. But aside from that, I think there's not too much more EA can kind of do and go upwards with. I just don't think they have the brains. So hope they prove me wrong. But again, I still think EA is going to be number one, but really excited for the future, guys. So let me know what you guys think on the video. If you enjoy it, drop a thumbs up. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace.